I lived in fear for most of my life. I just never realized it. And I now know that fear is the root of so much pain, hurt, isolation, guilt, anger, division, and tragedy. I mean, I couldn't even list all of the results and symptoms of fear, even if I wanted to. It's beyond my capabilities. Basically, I am human, like you, which means I'm not perfect, like you. No one is. I understand now that we're all a mix of bad and good, positive and negative, and what we consume and do is what we become more of. There's a well-known description of this in Native American culture, where it's referred to as two wolves inside you. One wolf wants the best for you, is the one which is all about happiness, compassion, understanding, love, kindness, peace for you and those around you. The other wolf aims and thrives on the opposite, the negative in the world. That wolf lives and breathes pain, fear, guilt, anger, hurt, isolation, division, and more. The wolf you feed more, that's the wolf which becomes your driving force. So my life was full of fear from a young age. I had a fear of doing wrong, a fear of not fitting in, of not being accepted, of not being who I wanted to be or who I was wanted to be, of not being enough, of not being good enough, of having done wrong before and facing up to my mistakes, of dealing with my pains and griefs, of dying, of not having enough, of being ridiculed or singled out, so much more, but my fears were real. They were deep, and they were intrinsic building blocks to my personality and my interactions with the world around me. Those learned fears and more, they ruled my life on and off, through my whole life, I think, or more accurately, from when I started to learn them. Back in high school, I remember knowing that I had to change to fit in. I didn't want to be a target. I didn't want to be a victim. And I knew back then that I didn't like this way of society. I didn't like this way of living, but I didn't seem to have a choice. I was going to be chewed up and spat out or change into someone I thought I had to be. As a child, then a teen, and on into adulthood, my fears would manifest and project in all kinds of ways, like anger, sharpness, ignorance, opinions, ridicule, bullying, social awkwardness, frustration, sadness, self-isolation, depression, and all the while my lack of understanding of myself and my knowing that thoughts don't necessarily mean truth or reality, I had no clue, and it was hard going. A constant battle inside my own head, seemingly endless overthinking, crippling shyness, and a lack of confidence, along with a propensity to go over the top to make up for it. I upset and hurt a lot of people through my life, I'm sure, and I'm really sorry for the wrongs that I've done. I'm sorry for all who I have hurt, everyone who I've upset. I see where those actions come from. I see the sources, the causes for my outward projections of negativity towards others. I still have times of anger or frustration, of course, I'm human, but they're much less, and there's no fear, or at least not for long. Sometimes that learned behaviour does take over, especially when I'm tired, under the cosh, emotionally and mentally, when there's a lot of pressure, and when I've not been looking after myself properly. And what I mean by that is that I realised a big part of my being peaceful and patient is down to my life and what I do it in, or in it, daily. When I allow things which are good for me to get less and less, when they become irregular instead of ever present, when I let those good habits wane, that's when the wolf which thrives on the negative growls and howls in delight. But I try hard, and I know that love will prevail. It always does, and always will. I've learned to be grateful for the tough moments where I let myself down as much as the feelings of joy which can flow within. I've learned to look for the good as much as I can, all the time. And looking for and seeing the good means I feel the good, and my life becomes it. I've learned that we all have one set of eyes and see the world through our own lenses, but we're all walking around with our own worries, fears, guilts, presuppositions, learned behaviours, stresses, experiences, traumas, loves, and grief, and none of us can see each other's interior thoughts. But we can see the result, the projection, the exterior reflection of the inner. I've learned that if I can change my life and learn new ways, if I can keep growing and becoming what I call the real me, then anyone can. I know this because I am human, as we all are. I have lied, cheated, stolen, fought, shouted, upset, frightened, hurt, bullied, and I wasn't, and I'm not beyond change for the better. Because that's only when I feed the bad wolf and let it rule the roost. There's a whole other side of me as well. They live together in me. I am both of them. I am to feed the one which is my best friend. I try hard to live on the fuel of love, not fear. And thankfully, I'm able to do that more than not. I'm still learning, I'm still trying, I'm still going, and I will keep doing that. I will keep rising as many times as I need to, trying to live my life full of and surrounded by love. Sometimes I fail, and that's okay. I'm a human, remember, just like you. I learn to love myself for who I am and appreciate myself at the same time as wanting and needing that growth and unlearning. And like I said before, if I can do better than I did, if I can learn and change for better, then anyone can. So today, I'm going to look for good. I'm going to try and share love, and I'm going to do all I can to have a beautiful day. I hope you do too. Much love.